Everyone is welcome here, it's time to make new friends. Aquavide Uskava, fill your Glencairn. Share a dram with the spirit of Edmonton. Luncha!
Good evening, Whiskey Brothers, Whiskey Sisters, and Whiskey Friends, and welcome to episode 41 of the Canadian Whisky Journey's Whiskey Review. I am Dolph. I'm going to be your host tonight. I'm the president of the Alberta Scotch Society, and I'm doing this, and this is fun. This is my Tuesday night, and I look forward to this every week. And I'm here with the co-author. I'm joined by Blair, co-author to this book right there, The Definitive Guide to Canadian Distilleries. Blair, what are we continuing our Canadian Whisky Journey with tonight, sir?
We are trying the brand spanking new Saint Laurent rye whiskey, getting some weird spotlight glare on it, but it's a 3-year-old rye. It just came out, a month ago or so?
Batch number one, or lot one, they call it, not batch, but lot number one. And a good looking, they have some of the best labels in the business, I think, what they do.
I'd put them in the top 5 in the planet if you ask me. I love them.
Excellent.
Yeah, they have an illustrator that does all kinds of funky things, and you can see there. It's really cool what they do with their imagery. It's all kind of Jules Verne-esque. Jules Verne, or not?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Much
so. That Thousand Leagues Under the Sea kind of thing.
I'm good.
Yeah.
That's it. And here's the distillery itself, right there. That's that's on their homepage. And you know what? We haven't. I don't think we've reviewed a bottle since you and I did the Canadian Whisky Journey in like 2020 when we did the book. You, me, Davin, and the other guys, and we were there with Joel, Jean-Francois, and these guys they're fun. If people out there haven't seen them before. Look them up on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll get what I mean. They like to have fun. Their pictures are fun. The videos they do are all fun. It's really cool. And
and that energy they have all goes into their spirits. That's what I think makes their gin, like their citrus gin, is ridiculously amazing. They have their Saint Laurent gin, which is has a seaside flair to it, and all of that creativity and stuff that they pull into the way they present themselves goes into the spirit. So when you're tasting it, it's not this big serious, like I gotta be this old man sitting by a fire trying it. You can have fun with it. You can make cocktails, you can sip it, you can do everything. So it's really cool what they're doing.
And I like those. I did like the Assaram. I think the Assaram was my favorite there when we had it. That stuck out in my mind. And the 3-grain whiskey as well, but the Assaram really just sticks. Anyways, we talked about it then. We also talked about stills, and that's the still right there, Lynn, and then Papa Wong. Those are the stills they use, and they answered one of the questions I had. Or if anyone's interested, go back and see this. It's one of my favorite episodes of all time, where we talk about why people think, or why people always like to look at stills. They always want to see pictures of the stills, or when you're on a tour, they like to see a still. And their answer is one of the best. And I'm not going to say it, but it had to do with, I'll put a link down below later. So some people can see it if you want to do it, but it's about the unknown. And it just, they go in, it was a good thing because it was off the cuff. Yeah. And they just answered it in a really unique way. And it's one of my favorite answers of all these ones that I've done before. So that was fun. And tell us about the building. Do you know what's done, when it's done?
So they have their distillery is in Rimouski, which is on the south shore of the St. Lawrence River. And their distillery is pretty much a seaside distillery, but they're building a big new one literally on the shore of the river, and it's going to be opening this summer. But right now they have their barrel house already built, and I think they've been aging stuff in there for over a year now. So they're moving all their spirits into that, and
that's right by the water as well, right?
Yeah, and what they did was, if you ever did landscaping and had to do gabion walls, it's when you have sort of a cage. You put a bunch of rocks in it, so it gives it there's a rustic look to it, But the whole purpose of these walls is that air goes right through it. So you'll see if it's a bright day, you'll see all these kind of spots of the sun coming through.
Okay.
And they built the walls of their warehouse with this so that they're getting that sea air going right into the building. And it's pretty crazy. Like Jean-Francois was telling me that when it's minus 20 outside, it'll be minus 20 in the barrel house. In the summertime, because they're right on the sea, it's not going to go above 17 degrees or so. So it doesn't get too hot.
Not often.
And when he was checking his whiskey during the winter, he was surprised that the temperature inside the cask was at minus 14, which is really cold.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're getting these drastic fluctuations in temperature, and all that humidity and sea air just whipping through the place. It's going to be quite fascinating to see how that affects their whiskey in the long run.
And it is sea air, and it's salt. So St. Laurent is the waterway, but it is salt water at that point, which becomes, well, fresh water down below, closer to Montreal or Quebec City, Montreal down there. It's fresh water. And so, yeah, it's kind of neat. But we always talk about, with whiskey anyways, you go Taiwanese whiskey or Indian whiskey, how the temperature is 40 degrees and it goes down. This is kind of the opposite, like minus 40 in the opposite direction. So I'm wondering how much that affects it as well, because it's got to. I'm assuming.
The 100%. And I'm pretty sure the fluctuations in temperature in Rimouski are, with this setup they have, it's unlike anywhere else. I can't think of another distillery that has basically outdoor aging and have that Canadiana where it's dipping so low in the winter and then climbing up in the summertime. It's going to be cool to see what happens.
It's neat, but I'm wondering why they would have done that, because they know what cold feels like. I'm thinking it's, why wouldn't you want a place you could be warm a little bit in the winter?
Well, they just want the region to affect the whiskey as much as possible and their other spirits. They just want to just hammer that warehouse with the scene, basically.
All right. And they're terroir people, and they're talking about terroir. They believe in it. So we're gonna see.
This is gonna be terroir on steroids, I think.
Well, minus 40, and not just minus 40 with wicked wind chill up there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how cold it gets. I think it gets cold. I don't know if it goes down to minus 40 in Rimouski on the water.
Really? Okay.
But maybe. But I'm gonna guess. I'm not a weatherman, but I'm gonna say it goes down to about minus 20 in January, February.
Okay. Well, I could ask Google now, but I don't want to hear it. And then I'll start playing something I don't want to do. Okay.
Yeah.
And some other interesting information that's most of you, I'm going to say most of you, maybe all of you that are watching this haven't heard, is that they're experimenting with special finishes. So they're doing Oloroso sherry, they're doing PX, they're doing tequila and cherry brandy finishing, which is kind of cool. So just to throw that out there, it's a little bit of information. But the whiskey finished in these, you'll only be able to get at the distillery. So just exclusively distillery bottlings for those, not the SAQ. And do you want to talk about the mash bill on this? Because this is a mash bill as opposed to the blending that we usually do.
Yeah, they use all local grains. And this one, I believe, is 80% organic malted rye.
Yep.
And 20% malted barley.
Yep.
All within, I'm going to say, an hour and a half of the distillery.
And 3 years, like you said before, 2/3 of it in virgin oak, 1/3 in ex whiskey barrels. And their whiskey barrels, I'm assuming, they're whiskey barrels for the third. 43%, 750 mils, available at SAQ, which is Société des Alcools du Québec, $55 from SAQ. And you can do SAQ online, I think. I don't know if you have.
They won't ship outside of province.
They don't. Okay.
Yeah. And this is the whiskey to call your local representative to try to open up those provincial restrictions.
And bring it down
across the whole country.
What do you get on the nose? Because I'm getting a very specific fruit.
Okay? I want to hear it.
Well, no, you first.
I find the nose has a really bright peppery thing going on, almost like a lemony. I get a lot of citrus and stuff like that.
Okay, so Yes, very bright. But the fruit that I'm getting more than anything else is apricot. But beyond that, I was telling my wife that it seems almost gin-like on the nose because it's really fresh. So the lemony that you said, but it's almost like the botanicals on the nose. It's fresher than a rye ever is.
Yeah. And when I talk about pepperiness, I'm thinking more of a peppery, like the way a herbal pepperiness comes through. Not like a black pepper, but a herbal pepperiness, and that resiny lemon rind note. It's just fantastic.
That's a neat nose there.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. Okay, we nailed the nose. I'm going in for the palate now. Fantastic mouthfeel. An 80% rye doesn't usually feel oily like that for me.
No.
Okay. All right. I'm doing more.
Yeah.
All right. Soft spices. Just
yeah.
It's not a spice bomb. It's not a heat bomb. It's got spice, but it's light.
Yeah. And once again, I'm just getting those citrus peel notes and just a really, really, really good cereal notes.
Okay. Help me out with the type of sugar. Are you hitting caramel, butterscotch, brown sugar?
I get butterscotch off this one, but it is sort of a toffee-ish.
Okay.
I go back and forth between toffee and butterscotch with this.
Me too. But I do with most things. I think I just confuse myself when I'm doing it. It's like I think one, and then do I think the other? And I just bounce back and forth. The finish, it's sweet up front. It's heat at the back of the throat, and then a little bit of heat on the tongue, which is kind of neat. It kind of fluctuates with the heat, but not a harshness. It's not harsh as a whiskey. It's straight, obviously. I didn't throw water in it because it was 43. Maybe I should sometimes. I might do that in future. Have two side by side, always water and not water. Just to,
I didn't add water to mine either.
Just to see if there's a difference.
I'm just really enjoying the way it's pouring out of the bottle.
Okay. And well, if you look at mine, we've gone through quite a bit. So, and only a couple friends have had this. So this is me for the most part, and two friends that had a dram or a dram and a half each because I pour a little bit heavy.
Yeah, I'm nursing mine until I can confirm that I can get someone over to the SAQ to get me some.
Okay. So. All right. Well, yeah, I'm not going to get any more for a bit. On the nose with water, because my wife just gave me my mini Glencairn with water. It changes the nose to floral a bit with water, which goes to my gin theory a little bit too.
Also, rye can bring that out. That might be the rye grain screaming that out. Yeah.
All right. That's neat. So I've had a great time tonight. This is great. I'm glad we did it. Anything that we're missing on the palate, nose, or finish before we signed off, kind sir?
I don't think so. It's just a really tight whiskey that has lots of going on. But at the same time, once again, we're in this habit of finding these whiskeys that have an identity into themselves. Yeah. And this is another one of them.
Yeah, this would do great in a lineup with other whiskeys. So if you're doing a tasting and you have 5, 6, 7, 8 whiskeys, or ryes specifically, I should say, this would go great within that lineup because it's distinctive. So it would stand out just like an Eau Claire's would have in the past. And yeah, I think I'd like to do that. Good idea. Good job there, Mr. Phillips. Thank you, everybody. And you know what? If I don't know how many bottles they put out. So if you find this, grab it. If you've got a friend in Quebec, grab it. If you can get your computer to have an IP address from Quebec and do it somehow like that. I don't know how to do this. And then mailing address in Quebec to someone you know. I don't know. Do it that way. But I think it's well worth it. Or go to Rimouski.
Yeah. Do it.
It's the summer. Thank you very much, kind sir. You have a fantastic night. And to our viewers out there, present and future, we will see you again next week. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
And I forgot to say it. Click, subscribe, like, all that stuff. Cheers. Have a fantastic night. Blair and everyone else. Sláinte. Cheers.